Drag Race Season 12 is often celebrated as sort of the renaissance of Drag Race after the somewhat disappointing Season 10 and Season 11. And I would definitely agree with the sentiment that Season 12 was a massive improvement after the other two seasons that came before it. But I would definitely still say that Season 12 was like the other seasons. Huge failure, a massive disappointment, complete buffoonery, namely due to one fact and one fact only, that is that our beloved, and I would have to prioritize beloved, Aunty Chan has not been casted on those seasons. Aunty Chan is the triple threat that Gigi Good pretends to be. That was unnecessary shade. I mean, I don't know how to express this without getting mean, because at this point I'm just frustrated. These stupid producers. Like, how is Aunty Chan not on Drag Race is the question. Not when, but like, why isn't she already? Are they scared of her power? Are they scared of like the inevitable sort of overtake that she will have? I don't know. But it is a crime at this point, love. It's a fucking crime. It's homophobia. And I would like to imagine a scenario where Aunty Chan would be cast on Season 12, would compete, and what would happen? Now, I was thinking, okay, when we are going to go through these challenges, really contemplating and thinking, whose place would she take on this season? I don't think we should add a queen, but like, whose place would she take? And obviously I'm saying that Redacted Pie isn't cast in this iteration of the season, but Aunty Chan is. Now you might say, well, that's making it unrealistic because she was such a main player. Well, Drag Race works in stereotypes. It works in stereotypes as far as reality TV goes. If you look and compare between seasons, you will find a lot of like similar archetypes throughout. And I feel like the sort of comedy queen was supposed to be Redacted Pie, this more comedy, less fashion focused, but more so human personality focused queen. They hoped that Redacted Pie would fill that. Obviously, she turned out to be a monster. So it wouldn't be that crazy for me to assume that she could have been like casted instead to fill that sort of spot they always want, which this season is filled by Tina Burner, or Nina Burner as infamously known. Now, I will go through the individual episodes, assuming Aunty Chan is competing, and we will be looking at how well she will do. 2 disclaimers. 1, I will try to remain unbiased. To get a good idea of how well she would do, I looked at her content on her YouTube channel, on the IMHO YouTube channel, on what she has done on her social media. I did research, love, with time that I didn't have, but it doesn't matter, I love her. And another disclaimer, I am not American, I'm not British, I'm European. English is my 3rd language, so if I make a mistake, please don't correct me. I don't respect America right now, and I but also don't respect the United Kingdom, so please refrain from correcting me. I don't respect your language, love. Let's just enjoy this, and let's start with episode 1, which was obviously the dual opening. Oh, maybe let's go through the cast. We have Widow, Heidi, Nikki Doll, Crystal Method, Britta Filter, Gigi Good, Rock, Jada, Jackie, Jan, Dahlia, Aiden, and Aunty Chan. Isn't this Photoshop everything? Didn't I like kind of pop off? Like, wouldn't you just be like, oh yeah, right, she was at the photo shoot? Wouldn't you just like think that? Well, I do. Anyway, so episode 1, I'm that bitch. I mean, obviously she would be in the 2nd episode, so the 1st episode remains the same with Widow and Gigi winning. Now, you don't know me. With Aunty Chan being part of this 6 duo, will she be in the top 2? Do you guys know about her amazing drag matinees? If you are questioning even if she would win or not, then you obviously don't. Aunty Chan is a modern day Dostoevsky. Like, she is a poet, she is a lyricist, she can obviously slay this. Definitely in comparison to who else was on this cast, I would think that she would definitely be in the top 2, and Jada as well. I don't think she would win the lip sync against Jada, so she's not getting the money, but she's definitely getting the praise and getting her first win in before the complete cast even meets. So congrats, Aunty Chan, for your first win. Episode 3, World's Worst. This episode obviously demands stupid acting, overacting with characters that are so absurd that it becomes almost difficult to even take them seriously. The scenes can become quite cringy quite easily if you have actors that are just really trying to make it funny without having any nuance in the character, without any ebbs and flows. Sort of like if Vanjie were to do something like this, it would just turn out a bit strange. So who would kind of be able to show these nuances? Also, in this episode, originally Redacted Pie won, and other than her, I don't remember anybody else be that good. Jackie Cox was quite good. I remember Jada to be really good, but that's about it. And do you know about the acting, the performance, the je ne sais quoi of Aunty Chan? She is the moment. Now come on now. So yeah, no, Aunty Chan will win this episode, and I'm not being biased. It's like, I guess, process of elimination. Nobody else will win this, obviously, than her. So yes, Aunty Chan will get her second win in by episode 3. Queen behavior. And the bottom 2 in the elimination stay the same. Now let's go to the bull. Did some research, and I do think that Aunty Chan does sew her clothes, not all of them, but she can definitely sew and make a gourmand. The issue is, will she stand out in comparison to the fashion queens of the season with our Goofy Nikki, Gigi Good, and Gigi's mom, and Jada Essence Hall? I don't think she would stand out over them. I would think she would be safe, but I don't think she would be high. So I think Gigi will be the winner here again, and the bottom 2 and the elimination stay the same. Episode 5, Gay's Anatomy. Again, overacting. It's a script, but I don't assume that Aunty Chan will get the win here. I would assume that this is going to go to Widow Wonju, who actually, in my opinion, was the best in that episode. She wasn't relying on a known character like Redacted Pie did, who won this episode. Redacted Pie was again playing an old woman, whereas Widow Wonju actually had a very thought out and improv-ridden character. The whole white party joke, apparently she made up herself. That wasn't apparently in the script, so she's absolutely amazing. I think Aunty Chan would do really well on this. She could possibly be in the top, but I think this was a really strong challenge, so it should go to somebody outstanding. And I think Auntie would do well, but at least I'm not assuming she would do better than Widow. I would think she would be in the top, but not winning. The elimination stays the same. Goofy Nikki Doyle will be Goofy and Friends. Episode 6, Snatch Game. I think it's clear. I personally think it's clear that she would either play, I'm so into voguing right now, Vanessa Hudgens, or honey, I'm giving you cum, honey, I was doing Sugarcane. These are the characters she's also really well known for already, but she might just do somebody entirely different, obviously. But let's assume one of these two. She would obviously be super strong. She would definitely be in the top, but again, I'm not assuming that she would win, and I would think that Gigi Good would win. Why do I think that? Well, because I thought that Jackie Cox was a lot better than Gigi. Not a lot better, but she was definitely better. She didn't rely so much on pre-prepared puns or on sort of conceptual props like Gigi did with the robot, which is absolutely fine. But in comparison to Jackie Cox, who did on-the-cuff jokes with her Brandy Glanville comment with the "don't talk about my husband," I mean, that was a lot more effort-filled, I feel like. And I would assume that Aunty Chan would have a similar level of sophistication when it comes to her snatch game. But considering the fact that even Jackie would, I would assume, similar level of sophistication, didn't end up winning and only ended up being high, I think the winner would then still remain the same. So if Jackie can't beat Gigi, then Auntie will not be able to either. The bottom two remain the same, with Aiden Zhang going back to her small town. Episode 6 is Madonna the Unauthorized Musical. Here I was looking at her lip sync performances, and she is a good performer. She can dance well enough. She's definitely not the dancing diva of Chicago, but she is a good enough performer, I would say. Now, will she be better than Miss Gigi Good? or Miss Jan? I would say no. If Jan didn't manage to beat Gigi, Aunty Chan will not be able to. I don't even think she would be in the top. I think she would land in the safe spots. Gigi would win, the bottom two would remain the same, and Britta would go back to New York City. Next we come to Droop, and here I obviously have to reference the masterclass. IMHO, where our Aunty Chan is a co-host alongside Darby Lynn Cartwright and Alexis P. Pebbles. If you guys don't know IMHO, I highly recommend you guys check it out. But here they made this video, this masterclass of minding your business, among others. This is what Aunty Chan at least did, and this is pretty much the Droop challenge. It's a commercial, and this is just reminiscent of how creative of a writer Aunty Chan is. I think she has a degree in comedy of some sort, or like improv. So yeah, I mean, this would be her win. This is what makes her entire educational background pay off, you know? This is where it does add. So she would definitely win the Droop challenge. I think the bottom two would remain the same, with Jan going home. Episode 9, this is Choices 2020 episode. Here, due to the fact that this is also about improv and comedy, Aunty Chan would do really well. But Jada was so exceptional in this challenge, which is why I'm not assuming that she would beat her, but she will be in the top. The bottom two remain the same, with Widow 1-2 going home. Now we come to the Superfan makeover. Auntie can beat a mug. She beats her own mug pretty well, but I didn't really find a lot of evidence as to what good of a makeover she would be for other people. I'm assuming she would do well enough, and I would definitely think she would do better than Heidi and Jackie Cox, both of which looks were horrendously bad. So she would be safe. She might be in the bottom three, but she would not go home. Yeah, so Jada will be winning, and the bottom two remain the same, with no one going home tonight. Episode 11 is a one queen show. Did you guys forget about the drag matinee? I didn't think so. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be Aunty Chan's win. Now you might be saying, you are being so biased. You are being so biased right now. How can you not let Phenomenal Phil win? Phenomenal Phil won because that was the best in the lineup. And that wasn't a strong lineup. Now you have Aunty Chan in the mix, who, as I made very clear with all the evidence that I exhibited here, is a writer. She's a creator, she's a performer. She can do this. She does this for a living. She will absolutely be managing easily to be better than Crystal Method's Phenomenal Phil, which was great, which would definitely be top in this episode. But she will have something a lot better conceptually and as far as the content of the jokes go. So Aunty Chan will get her 4th win in this episode. The bottom two stay the same, with Heidi going back to Ramso. Episode 12, Viva Drag Vegas. In this episode, I think Gigi will still get her win. Again, sort of why with the Madonna the musical, she's a good performer, Aunty Chan, but not, I think, exceptional enough to beat Gigi here, or Jada, who I maybe even think should have won this challenge. But yeah, I think she would make it through the finale definitely without any issues. Especially because this episode for the finale, they do, I guess, consider like the entire track record and not only then the episodes, because you can see the entire episode they were sort of pinning Crystal against Jackie because they were the two in the original season who didn't yet have a lot of wins. Crystal had 1, Jackie had none. So I think that would have been the plot anyways. So these two lip sync, and Jackie, I would assume, goes home because Crystal, in my opinion, was the better lip syncer in that episode. But could go the other way around, considering that in this iteration, Crystal didn't get a win. So it could be that Jackie Cox ends up going to the finale, but to make my life a little bit easier, I'm not assuming that. So due to the fact that nobody here is a sexual offender, we have 4 queens going into the finale, with Gigi Good 5 wins, 0 lip syncs. Aunty Chan coming to a close second with 4 wins and 0 lip syncs. Crystal Method with no wins and 1 lip sync, and Jada Essence Hall coming in at 3rd place with 3 wins and 1 lip sync. Now the question would obviously be, when looking at the coronavirus, how this would have been, considering we have 3 queens now. Will they make this two-way lip sync where one is going up against one another like they did before, or are they saying no, they are keeping this individual 5 lip sync format? I think this is where you guys come in. Who do you guys think should win? However you want to judge it. If you want to judge it based on track record, I think it's easily said that Gigi should obviously win, but maybe you disagree. If you think it should be like a 2 versus 2, like in season 11, for instance, then who would win here? Let's say Gigi versus Auntie and Crystal versus Jada in the first round, or any other way. At this point, I'm assuming that it's a very close call between like the top 3, like Gigi, Auntie, and Jada. Crystal obviously doesn't really stand a chance. One of these 3 would win. I could see it going either way, but I think ultimately what we can say is that if Aunty Chan would have been on season 12, she would have done really, really well. I don't think I'm like bending over backwards for this to be true. I think this is pretty easily said. She might not have 4 wins, maybe 1 less or something, but she would do well enough to be in the finale. That's what I think. Now, to support me, you can subscribe to my channel, you can like this video, maybe leave a comment. I always love hearing. I'm a relatively new channel, so the engagement is quite low obviously still. But yeah, just leave whatever comment you have in the comment section below. More importantly than anything, please like Aunty Chan's content, go to IMHO, subscribe to the trio. I would love to make videos with Darby Lynn Cartwright and Alexis P. Pebbles too, who I also adore. Yeah, and her personal social media. Do it. Now, goodbye.